Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be kind of a different video. This is going to be probably the first of many car rants that I have. But I watched a video by Pete Rubish today discussing like the golden age of powerlifting and what he viewed as the like best time period of powerlifting as far as the culture surrounding it. And I just wanted to talk about how I've seen the culture of not just powerlifting but strength sports as a whole change since I got into lifting. So I've been weight training now for off and on for about 5 years, so since my sophomore year of high school. And I have honestly found that the culture around weight training is, I would say, much more precise but way less heart than it used to be. So back when I first got into lifting, probably the biggest names in the sport were Dan Green, Pete Rubish, and then on the strongman side, it was Eddie Hall, Thor Bjornsson, and Brian Shaw. The one thing you can connect with all of those guys, they wanted to win. You could just watch any of their videos, any of their motivation videos, any of their training clips, their competition footage, anything, and you could just see how bad they wanted to win. It completely possessed all of them. And it was at a point where they would do sometimes pretty stupid training decisions, but they just loved the gym so much that it didn't really matter to them. And that was kind of the era that I grew up in as far as strength sports and lifting as a whole. I mean, on the bodybuilding side, even at that time, you had guys like he may have passed away already by the time I discovered him, but Dallas McCarver, who sadly passed away at 26, but he was so possessed by his want to be the best in bodybuilding that he was willing to put anything on the line. I mean, Rich Piana even did not die long before I got into lifting, so his influence was still very, very strong. And I feel like nowadays, powerlifting and strength sports, I can't speak as much on bodybuilding because I'm not really a bodybuilder, but in strongman and in powerlifting, everything's so cold and calculated, and that kind of plays to my strengths because that's kind of just how I am. But it's a lot less entertaining to watch. I mean, outside of Larry Wheels, I can't really name a powerlifting personality that's big in the sport that I actually enjoy watching, like, for who they are, that's still at the height of their powers. I mean, Jesus is kind of there, but even him, it's like he doesn't really post stuff like that to my knowledge. It's but who are you as a person? I don't know. That's a side of things that I feel like has been really, really missing, at least since the pandemic, since Larry Wheels was at the height of his popularity, in the first year or two that I was getting into weightlifting. And I mean, there's also been a huge shift in what's like acceptable now by most people in the sport. I've made this really controversial video on sumo, and I honestly just feel like, as positive as the response has been, and thank you guys for that, it's almost that I feel like people who disagreed with my opinion for the most part didn't even click on the video because they're the side of lifting that truly believes in the sport gamified version of powerlifting, where you're just trying to put as much weight on the bar by any technical means possible. I mean, I don't know. To me, strongman and powerlifting is about real raw strength, trying to exemplify that. That's why, even though primarily thus far this channel has been a powerlifting channel, I deadlift with straps, and I think overhead press is probably my favorite upper body movement because I think it best exemplifies like raw, real world strength. So it's a little hard for me to swallow now. You have the super, super wide squatters, super, super wide deadlifters, super, super high arch and wide grip bench, where the range of motion on all three is reduced significantly, and the leverages are so increased that the actual level of raw strength you need for that is significantly diminished compared to what it would be if you did like, I don't know, like an axle deadlift, like a conventional axle deadlift, even with a belt and straps, and even with a deadlifting suit, sorry. The raw strength you need to do some of those movements is just not the same. It's mainly, or not mainly, but more about the technique. And in some way, I feel like that kind of flies in the face of the spirit of the sport that I really fell in love with. So, anyway, that's going to be my little ramble for the day. So, thank you guys for listening.